We often carry heavy burdens. We will have questions. Why? Why am I suffering? For whatever reason. And I know that in the midst of suffering, no matter how young or how old, sometimes we feel the absence of God. And we wonder if God is really with us. Our faith is probably tested. I think it's important for everyone to know who is sick, who carries suffering or burdens, whatever that could be. People watching on Facebook Live or on the YouTube channel once this gets out there, or in this church today, that God doesn't cause suffering. God is love. God will not cause us to suffer. But through other circumstances, for some reasons, we get sick. Things happen in our lives that bring us grief and great turmoil, however unjust it might be. And in the midst of that suffering, we grasp with finding hope. Now, in preparation for this homily today, I was thinking about people who suffer that I've encountered, who in the midst of their suffering inspire me. And you know what I've found is that many times it's young people, the youngest of us all, who may have cancer, leukemia, different diseases and struggles. But it's often these younger people that are truly inspiring that bring us hope. I have a friend that I grew up with, went to school with. She's younger than me a little bit. She has a 12-year-old daughter who has cancer. And just last week, I got to meet her. I spent about 2 hours with her and her mother and her grandparents. And I was inspired by this 12-year-old who has cancer, who suffers, and how she brought hope to that room for the whole 2 hours that I was there. She was joking around with her mother, teasing her grandfather, but truly uplifted the room in her suffering. And I was inspired by that. She doesn't know that. She knows it now. She's watching. But she inspired me for this homily because it reminded me that even in the most darkest grief of times, of which everyone has, even her, there's a room for hope. There's room for the possibility of healing. And it's interesting that the people around us who care for us in the midst of our suffering are Jesus working in our midst. You know, it's funny, when I think about when we suffer, people ask, where is God? And when I was in this young person's house, God was her mother. God was working through her grandfather and her grandmother. And I guess me too. But God was working through her in a powerful way. And I've seen that with other young people who suffer too. We're often surprised by the faith of young people in the midst of their difficulties and how they cope. But not only that, how they lift other people up around them. And so when we ask, where is God in the midst of all this? Well, God was in that living room. And God is now at the IWK with her and her mother, father, grandparents, doctors and nurses, visitors who come in to see her, and indeed all those who come into our lives as well. It's important to know that Jesus is faithful. In the season of Advent, we refer to Jesus as Emmanuel. That means God with us. That he never abandons us. He never leaves our sides, and he walks with us. He walks with us when we carry that heavy cross. You know, the Lord might not ever take away the cross, but he certainly helps us to carry it. He helps us to get through the most difficult of times. And so when we think about suffering, as hard as it is, and no one deserves to suffer, none of us do. But even when we do, Jesus never abandons us. He wants to help us to find healing, whatever that might be. Total physical healing, relationships that heal, friendships that heal, whatever that could be in our lives. Maybe it's forgiveness. Maybe it's being able to forgive someone that we hold the greatest grudge for all of our lives. And maybe they're not even alive anymore, and we're still holding on to it. There's no greater healing than forgiveness. Letting go and allowing God to give us that peace that we truly need. So today we come here for a healing Mass. We come here asking for God to help us, to heal the people around us. And as I've said every time, let us be open to the healing. I know we have specific intentions. We should. But let us be open to the possibilities of what God might do that we don't expect. Case in point, right there. You came for healing, asking not for what you asked for, but you found great physical healing. And we had you speak last year here about your healing. You know, sometimes we want healing to happen right away. I like this image. We're microwave people. You know, when you put something in the microwave for 2 minutes, beep. You stand and you watch it. And you can't wait for it to finish. Come on, 2 minutes. You wait. I do it. I don't like cooking rice or anything. I just use the 2-minute stuff, right? Wait. But our spirituality can be like that too, where we expect God to act in our own time, in our way. But let's be open to how God will work in his way and what he wants to do for each of us. And as I've always said, the Blessed Mother is very important in our spiritual lives. She wants us to be close to Jesus. She wants us to know him. She wants to help us. She wants to intercede on our behalf, and she does, as a mom, a spiritual mom. So as we come to receive the Eucharist today, we give thanks to God for his mercy, for his faithfulness, how he never leaves our side. Even if we feel like he has, he doesn't. And as we come to receive the Eucharist today, let us find healing for ourselves, for people in our lives and our communities that truly are in the greatest